make sure that his kid is the senior class president. It's principals that when there's a fire in the school, they stand up and say, I want to know who did it, and I'm going to call the police and have you arrested. And they find out it was his son, and nothing is done. Leadership is the key to quality Adventist education. Leadership is the key to marketing Adventist education. All of the statistics are available either on my website or on the NAD. Go on there and look. I haven't hidden anything. It's right there for you to look at. Anybody can go in and look and say, here's the problems, here's the positives of Adventist education. We're actually doing a study called Cognitive Genesis, in which it's our goal to find out what the quality is in the Adventist system. We want to know what that quality is academically. We think, and the first blush, the first year's statistics prove that every single union in this division is above the predicted level of academics. Amen. Above. Every single union. Across the board, in every area, we're above predicted. And what's predicted? We did cognitive ability testing. And we said, here's your ability as a system, and our kids did better than their predicted ability. So we have a good system. And we're going to do that over 3 years, and we're going to publish that and say, are we going to find warts? Is that okay? Absolutely. I'm hoping that all of you know about this. This is part of the NAD site. It's under resources and under marketing tools. We have bulletin covers, bulletin inserts, customized brochures. We have educational Sabbath sermons. There's a half a dozen out there now. If your pastor, now this is a hypothetical, your pastor never went to Adventist education, never had a class in the seminary, and now is pastor of your church and has to promote Adventist education and doesn't know how. We've provided educational sermons that you can point that pastor to and say, or you can take these resources and personalize them and use them yourself. The NAD logo, if you want that logo to be part of your school, here's where you get it in all kinds of formats. We have posters, we have promotional DVDs, we have t-shirts and hats and all kinds of stuff. It's all available. You can order it. In the next 60 days, we will have a process in which you can order all of this online at cost. You'll be able to go in, and if I want this brochure or this poster, for my school, I can go in, click on that. There'll be 30 cents a piece. You say how many you want, you put in your credit card number, and they'll send them to you. We have now developed an ordering system from the publisher. We will design things, put them on the web, and you can order. If you want 10, you can order 10. And they'll be the same cost as if you ordered 1,000. Customized brochures. You can have those customized with your school name on them. Customized DVDs. It'll say on the back of on the trailer, Chisholm Trail Academy, school address, school phone number, and school website. We have free websites. How many of you do not have a website for your school? How many of you have changed your website in the last 60 days? I asked that way instead of the other way. Because the problem is so many schools have static websites. And we have websites that are available that are not static, they're dynamic. And we change content for you on a regular basis from the division so you have a dynamic site. These resources for promoting your school are available, but they're only valuable if you have a quality product to market. If you hear anything, hear this. Do not market a poor product. Do not market a mediocre product. It will not sell. Make sure you have a quality product, and when you do, know who your market is, know what your niche is, and market to that. And these materials, you will find some material there somewhere. If not, you let me know what you want, and we'll produce it for you. That's our responsibility, is produce those materials so that you have professionally developed materials. And once you have it, market your school. Know your mission, market to your mission, and fill your school. Comments, questions, or accusations?
Can you develop a workshop or presentation on brand? How do you brand Adventist education?
All right, the question is, how do you brand Adventist education? Upper Columbia Academy, I'll use that as an example. Upper Columbia Academy, about, anybody here from UCA? A number of years ago, they sat down in a room. I wasn't there, so I'm going to make it up. They sat down in a room and they said, here's what we want to be. We want to be known as the spiritual, Adventist, conservative, quality, caring school. And they went out and marketed that. They just said, we are. They made the changes internally to make sure that was their mission. Then they changed what they did on campus to make sure that it matched that. And then they went out and said, this is who we are. If you want a quality, spiritual environment for your children, then UCA is where you need to be. And what happened to the UCA enrollment? They branded their school. They said, here's what we want to be. They changed the infrastructure so that that's what it was. They weren't selling a pig in a poke. They were actually selling what the reality was. And then they branded themselves and said, here's who we are. If this is what you want, here we are. Come get it. Is it important to have a uniform to brand a school? Help me. What do you think? Is a uniform branding? It's part of it. And it depends. When I was at TA, we went to uniforms. We were the first, at least, Caucasian senior academy in North America to go uniforms, at least in the United States anyhow. I don't know about some of the other schools, but at least that I knew of, the first one. And why did we do it? Before we did that, the parents had voted it, the faculty had voted it, the board had voted it, the parents and the students had voted to go to uniforms. And why? It was a safety issue on our campus. We had 4 guys come in and beat up 4 other guys in the hallway. We have 450 kids. Could I look down the hallway and know every kid by name as an administrator? No, I couldn't. But if I could look down the hallway and see a bright red shirt or a green shirt or a white shirt that is in a sea of blue, then I knew I had 4 kids out of place. It was a safety issue. I branded at Tacoma Academy with uniforms, but over a safety issue, not over a branding issue. But everybody in that community began to know Tacoma Academy because of those uniforms. Do you have to have uniforms? No, but they can be part of the branding.
You have kids in uniforms. You can think about a car. It's got the I love Jesus sticker on it. You just see it speeding around, running into people, running over people. It's not how good advertising. It seems lost here. Here's a part of it. You make sure. Like earlier, we had the discussion about how the kids are supposed to go and read them, coach people. They can show you the theory.
Mm-hmm.
They show you the school. They're all proud. That's the kind of kids who take uniforms, right?
Only the good kids get uniforms.
Your kids that got wearing a school logo doing graffiti on the side of the wall, like, oh, okay, so.
Do you think that if you set the school climate in your school, like Kelly was talking about this morning, good choice theory, where kids want to be in your school, and they're wearing a Tacoma Academy uniform, do you think that that will deter them from doing things that they would do otherwise? Some kids, yes. I believe, I've seen that happen. Mr. Blackmer, I was going to, but I knew I had my school uniform on, you'd hear about it. And I didn't do it. Thank you, because it let me out of a situation with my friends that I don't know how I would have gotten out of otherwise. That's happened. Is it always going to happen? Are you going to have instances where the police bring your kid in because they knew that it was a Tacoma Academy uniform and nailed them? They came in looking because they were looking for a particular person? That's happened too. We know that he was wearing a TA uniform when he did it, so we're going to find him on your campus somewhere. That happened. That's okay too. Other general questions?
Oh, I was just going to make a statement.
It's fine.
I just think that a lot of people frown against uniforms. I guess they had negative situations or issues when they were growing up with the uniform. However, in my one experience of just this past year and changing my school's uniform to a more specific, stricter uniform, I had 2 situations that happened. One of the students, when they were getting fitted for their blazer, she put it on and she goes, oh, I feel smart. Automatically, just from trying on the blazer. And for that rest of the year, she studied, her grades improved. The teacher said she had a great academic year. And then on the other hand, one of the other students who, our school serves a lot of low-income people. They can't dress like the lawyers' kids dress, and they can't look like the doctors' kids look. But when they come to school, everybody looks the exact same. And I know that some people say, well, they're going to pick out whatever they want to pick out. But at least 5 days out of the week, they're not struggling with the way they look compared to somebody else's way they look. And so I feel like uniforms, if they're presented in a positive way versus a negative way, will have a positive impact, not just on the school culture, but the community and how they relate to each other themselves.
Good point.
I had a school one time that called me up as a superintendent, and they said, we're going to have uniforms in our academy next year. And I said, oh, really? And they said, yep. I said, have you told the parents? Not yet. And I said, what's the date today? July. And they were going to then, in July, send a letter to all the parents saying, by the way, next year there will be uniforms, and here's the cost for the uniforms. Any other general marketing questions? Again, I'll be around all week. Thank you very much.